shape your love of football?
It definitely shaped my love of football for sure. I mean, I know I've said it a ton, but I grew up going to Cleveland Browns games every Sunday, every home game, from the time I was like 6 or 7 years old. The first time I missed a Cleveland Browns home game was my freshman year at Penn State. My dad still has the tickets in his name. Obviously, he doesn't. I don't think he's made one since I've been in college, but still owns the rights to the seats. So it means a lot to me. And I think just growing up in really the Midwest, but more specifically Northeast Ohio specifically, where it's a big football town region in general, it's definitely shaped my love. And then obviously having my dad who played football in high school and was fortunate enough to play in college as well really helped me.
Who's your guy? Who's your favorite Brown?
Favorite Brown? There's been a lot of them. It's kind of hard to name one, but I think one that probably sticks out to me the most would be like, I'm going to have a tough, I love Joe Hayden. Even though he's a defensive guy, I love watching Joe Hayden.
I know you got a lot going on right now in front of you. Do you see yourself playing that?
I mean, I'm not going to get into that part of it, but that would be like really just to have the opportunity to play in the NFL in general, no matter the organization, would be an honor and a blessing. But for those goals, for me, like it's all about this upcoming season, because I don't want to be worrying myself or distracting myself where I'm going to be next year. Like all I care about is winning games this fall for Penn State, because again, like I had that decision last year, and my decision was to come back because I felt like that was the best opportunity for me to grow as a player and also accomplish my goals individually and as a team.
Drew, you have your own first quarterback this year. How do the external expectations feel different this year compared to the have in recent years?
I mean, you definitely hear more noise from that standpoint for me. Like, I mean, you kind of want to be in that position where all the expectations and maybe pressure are on you. But for me, it's all about I could care less if we're unranked in the media or whatever, ranked number 1, ranked number 5. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. The only thing I care about is being where we're ranked at the end of the season. I could care less about preseason rankings. It's all about where you're at the end of the season. So, it's definitely a blessing for us to be in the position we're at, but it doesn't matter if we don't go out and execute on every Saturday we have this fall.
Drew, what does it mean to be a leader, and how do you take that?
Yeah, it means a lot to be a leader, because I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be around a lot of great leaders. I mean, my freshman year, we had obviously Sean Clifford in the quarterback room, but you have guys like P.J. Mustipher, Jair Brown. There's countless other guys that I'm going to not mention just because there's so many of them, but they've had a ton of influences on me and my style of leadership. It's something I've tried to grow in every year, because the vocal leadership probably didn't come as natural to me as maybe some others. Like, I mean, if you guys talk to Nick Dawkins, like, he can literally relate to any crowd here and fit into any room. So like he's natural at that, and I've actually like worked hard at that, and he's done a great deal for me just watching him and how his leadership has grown over my 4 years here and his time at Penn State as well. But yeah, it's definitely an honor for me to be here and represent the team, and I'm just doing my best to, put ourselves in the best position to win games in the fall, no matter if I need to be the most vocal leader or I need to just lead by example.
Drew, you have your own quarterback.
There's some chatter during the playoff last year that you might rethink your decision to come back. How real was that? Did you ever give it second thought? And then go through the reasons why you ultimately decided that you want to come back for the season.
Yeah, with the timeline in general to make that decision, it was just a rapid timeline with obviously being in the Big Ten championship, and then after that game, like having that like really week and a half to try to make that decision, because obviously we were preparing for SMU at that point in the playoffs. But for me, when I made that decision, like it was like I was pretty confident that I would come back. For me, it would have to be like something pretty drastic to change that opinion, and I was upfront and honest with Coach Franklin, and he saw it the same way. But for me, I knew like probably throughout the playoffs that like there was like a 90% chance I was coming back. And what went into that decision really was I just wanted to play more football. I felt like there's a lot. I've made strides every year in my development, but there's definitely areas I wanted to get better at and needed to get better at. And I thought having another year in the weight room with the best strength staff in the country with Coach Losi and all his guys like would only help me. And I think it's paid off huge for me this year. Like I'm the leanest I've been, probably the lightest I've been, and then also the fastest and strongest I've been since I've been at Penn State. So I think it helps me in the long run. And just, again, like the experience of playing more football will never hurt me.
On that, where do you think you're going to be a better player on the field this season?
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is to say everything, but I think for me, the consistency of just no matter if the drive's good or bad, interception, touchdown, like just bouncing back from good or bad. That's something I've been focusing on since really spring ball, because I know there's like a golf stat out there, like the top 10% golfers in the world, like their bogey to birdie ratio is like insane compared to the other golfers. Like when they have a bogey on the golf course, their ability to bounce back and either par or gain that stroke back with like a birdie or whatever that case is. So just learning like how I should be able to flush things, like if things go good or bad, like it's just something I've been working on. So I think that part of it will really help my game in general.
Jordan, you guys are favored in Iowa City hugely, but Kinnick Stadium is a hostile environment. As a veteran signal caller, how are you preparing your mindset to go into a game where one misread or mistake can change the game?
Yeah, I think for me, every game is like that, no matter the opponent or where we're at. But I've heard nothing but great things. I've never been to Iowa, but I've heard nothing but great things. Obviously, with Trace McSorley on our staff, I've talked to him a little bit about it and just the memories he has there and that sort of thing. But they have a great program, obviously very consistent program. So when that opportunity comes, I'll definitely be looking forward to it. But for me, it's focusing on ourselves this fall camp and then Nevada week 1.
Drew, how does the dynamic work with when you have a quarterback mentor like Brad? How does the dynamic work with the staff? I would have to imagine there might be places where the staff may not like that, but it seems with you guys, it's been kind of copacetic the whole way. How has that kind of worked throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Franklin has been great with that. I think the thing that's helped with that is Brad has done everything that Coach Franklin has asked, answer any questions that Coach Franklin has either on me. Obviously, he trains Grunk in our room, but maybe any recruiting quarterbacks he's training that maybe Penn State's looking at. So just being a resource for Penn State. Obviously, like you said, like there's probably not many places around the country that will maybe let an outsider come in and like work out their quarterbacks and that sort of thing. But Coach Franklin is always open. I mean, if you communicate with him or have anything you want to ask Coach Franklin or maybe do to help your game, he's willing to do anything. You just have to communicate with him, and he's been great for us. Obviously, Brad has been great for me in my time throughout high school and obviously throughout my career in college.
Were there any throws last year that really stuck with you? You really?
I mean, there's definitely a handful. I mean, to point out one, I would say probably my really all 3 of my touchdowns in the Fiesta Bowl game were throws that I knew when it came off my hand that they were going to be in really good spots, and obviously the receivers that caught it did a great job of coming down with it. But I also think the opening touchdown of the year, West Virginia, because we were just kind of slow starting, but then that really kick-started that game for us.
You spent 2 years going up against Jim Knowles, that defense out of Ohio State. Having him in the building now, have you at all had a chance to sit down with him and maybe take you through how he was able to game plan for you over the last 2 years?
Yeah, I've actually been able to sit down with him and a couple of guys that he brought over from Ohio State and really sit back and watch the game from last year and just really understand their philosophy behind like why they were calling certain things and maybe the tells that we had as an offense. So all those sorts of things. Like he was able to show me the scouting report that they had on me and other guys. So I thought it was really positive feedback from the standpoint, like I knew there was areas I needed to work on, but those kind of reconfirmed it. So like just knowing that those areas that showed up on film and trying to make those into strengths for me this year, so those things don't happen. But I mean, I'm really excited to go against him and the defense this fall camp, because I think it's going to be the best defense in the country, and I know our goal for offense is to be the best offense in the country. So to be able to go against them every day is going to be really fun. I mean, there's going to be some challenging days, but that's what's going to pay off in the long run during the season. You said what?
The bogeys and birdies that you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Consistency. Who taught you that?
So actually, Tom Rinaldi, like I did an interview with him, and he brought that stat up because I was talking about like just what I do, or like how I've kind of switched my mindset to that, like in a positive way of thinking. And he was the one that actually showed me that stat and brought that up to me. So Tom Rinaldi. So.
Are you a big golf guy?
Yeah, I try to golf as much as I can in the summer. In season, like I'm not golfing. Yeah.
Drew, how would you describe Penn State whiteout?
The whiteout. I mean, there's nothing like it. If you're a college sports fan in general, especially football, like the whiteout, no matter if you're a fan of Penn State or not, is something you need to go to, in my opinion. Like, I went to it as a recruit, sat in the stands. Like, it's crazy sitting in the stands, but it's even crazier being on the field for that. I'm thankful I don't really have to deal with that as a quarterback. Like, they're kind of quiet when I'm out on the field, unless something good happens for us. But like when I'm sitting down on the sidelines and I'm trying to go through the film with Danny, like it's hard to hear him next to me just because of how like loud the crowd will get, and you can feel the stadium shaking. Like it's really. We're really fortunate to have the fan base that we have, with how passionate they are and how much they care about Penn State football. So our goal every weekend is to go out and represent them well and make them proud.
True. Ducks are headed for the whiteout. How much are you looking forward to that game?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it for sure. But for us, it's always about going 1-0. You never want to overlook any opponents. Like, our focus is going to be on us when we get into fall camp, and obviously we have Nevada week 1, so we'll be preparing for Nevada.
Drew, the discrepancy for Penn State against top 10 teams and then teams ranked outside the top 10 is pretty staggering, especially under Coach Franklin.
Yeah.
You're going to have opportunities against top 10 teams this year. You're going to have to beat some to win a national championship. Is that any kind of motivating factor, rallying cry? Is that something you guys discuss in the building?
Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit with Coach Franklin and Coach K, and for us, we definitely need to get over that hump. There's no question about it, but we've also been one of the most consistent programs over his tenure, especially the last 11 years or whatever he's been the Penn State head coach. So our process has been working, but we definitely need to find different ways to, come out with different results in those games. And I think for us, at least me specifically, it's just about execution of us from a player standpoint. Like, there hasn't been, at least in my career, like we haven't really been blown out of the water by any team. So it's really just about finding those areas to make 1 or 2 more plays throughout those games, because those types of games, when you're going against those great opponents that have equal talent as you and also equal coaching staff and that sort of thing, it comes down to maybe just 4 or 5 plays throughout the game. So finding a way to maybe get into a better play or make one more throw that maybe I didn't make it's all the difference. So just finding different ways to, the little things that add up into big things over time is going to be our focus.
Do you think the experience of this team could be a deciding factor, because you are one of the most experienced teams in the country, and if it comes down to players?
Yeah, I think the experience definitely helps because we know what those situations feel like. We know what it is like to be on both ends of it, the winning side and the losing side. So, just channeling that and just flushing in the moment and staying in that present moment when those opportunities do come, I think is going to be the biggest thing for us.
Coach Franklin mentioned on the stage about how, starting up as a 3-star recruit and then becoming the #1 quarterback prospect. What do you recall about that process and that development, and how do you maybe mirror that throughout your college career recruiting?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me as a quarterback, every year I've played, I've gotten better and more consistent. So it's about sticking to that process. And for me, it's always about just putting my head down and just working, no matter if people see it, don't see it. Like, I'm always in the facility trying to find a little edge, whether it's keeping my body right with maintenance and that sort of thing, or if it's watching more film. So I think my process has been really good throughout the years, and that's what's allowed me to get better each year. But, for me, as far as like all the rankings and stuff, like I never really thought too much of it when I was in high school, because to me, like, whenever you step in whatever program you decide to go in, you're not given anything, you're not entitled to anything because of the amount of stars that were attached to your name out coming out of high school. And even so, like, with me being a 3rd-year starter, like, I'm not like guaranteed to do anything. Like, I have to go in and earn it each day. And we as a team, like, we always talk about, like, again, with the outside expectations, like, we can be crowned whatever people want to crown us, but we have to go out and earn those expectations and that sort of thing, and really just put our head down and keep working, no matter if it's a good situation we're in or a bad situation.
What was it like for you 2 years ago to come home and play at Ohio State, your home state school, in that environment, in Horseshoe, and the way that game went? Is that at all a motivation for getting another chance to play there this year?
I think, obviously being able to go back home to Ohio and play in my home state is definitely a blessing, because I was able to obviously have more family members there, more friends there. And obviously they have a great environment, great program, great team, great players and great coaches. So when that opportunity comes, I'll be looking forward to it, just for the opportunity to go back home and play them, because obviously they're a great team, and obviously they accomplished what every team in America wants to accomplish. last year. So, when that opportunity comes, I'll be excited for it. But for me, it's always about going 1-0, never overlooking the opponents, because again, like we played Nevada week 1. So when we get through that part of training camp where we're shifting our focus to the season, I'll put all my focus on Nevada.
Drew, as a starting quarterback, I'm sure you've had to deal with your share of trolls and stuff online. How often do you hear from people who say directly, like, you cost me money? Because they have, they're betting on your stats,
No,
so they're betting on the.
Actually, a lot. It's probably more like, honestly, like that was the one thing that has always caught me off guard. Like I didn't expect that part as the starting quarterback in college. Because I'll go back home and people will be like, oh yeah, I got like 1,000 on you to win a Heisman. I'm like, okay, like why do I need to know that? Like I don't necessarily need to know that, but I mean that side of things can kind of bring out some ugly interactions. I've definitely had some things that I'm like questioning, like I don't know how like people could do that to you. Like I've had people request money from me and all that sort of stuff, phone number leaks. So, and it's not just me. Like it'll affect like my family, my girlfriend, all my friends. Like they'll go after them, which is kind of the weird part. Like it necessarily doesn't make it to me, but they'll kind of go after people that are around me. So that it's definitely weird having those interactions, but I try to handle it as best as I can and as gracefully as I can.
You've had people request money because they lost a bet?
Yeah, just they'll find my Venmo or something. Yeah.
Do you feel any more pressure knowing that there's people out there actually wagering? It's not just like the happiness of whether you win the game, it's like they're putting actual money on your performance.
I mean, not to be cruel, I don't care. I mean, that's their choice to make those decisions, whether they put money on us or not. So I mean, it's kind of on them. It's weird to kind of say that, but like it's definitely just weird with those sorts of things, just because sometimes there's like no good way to handle it, and it becomes really awkward. So again, just trying to handle those things as gracefully as I can, and really just trying to limit all those distractions as I can. Like I'll be off social media during the season, so trying to at least limit the amount of distractions that I can have throughout a year.
Drew, you look at Ohio State, new quarterback, Michigan, new quarterback, Oregon, new quarterback, 3-year starter. Do you guys sense the opportunity that you have going into the Big Ten this season?
I mean, I think for us, our goal is always to be in the Big Ten title and obviously win it. Obviously, we came close to that last year, didn't accomplish it. And for us, I think it's always about reflecting internally on what we can do well and what we need to be better at. So, again, going into fall camp, it's going to be all about us and finding what we're good at, what our weaknesses are, and attacking those things to make them into strengths, so we can be the most well-rounded team in the country and also be the most diverse team in the country in terms of personnel we can throw out on the field, the different types of players we have out on the field at any given time, and just trying to become the most well-rounded team as we possibly can throughout the 4 weeks of camp or whatever it is.
With the way that the Notre Dame game ended and picking the field goal,
Yeah.
Any extra feel for you in the offseason? Did you go back and watch that play? How has that play affected you?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely watched that play like a handful of times. I don't know the number, but for me, again, like the mistakes that I made in that game, the thing that was frustrating but also good at the same time was like all the mistakes that I did make were very correctable and easily correctable. It's just about being intentional with those things, and for me, like just being conscious of those things. Maybe I didn't know throughout the season that I was doing some certain stuff, so now when I was in the off season, like hammering those things down, so when those moments in games do come, like the bad habits or stuff like that don't show up in the most critical moment where it does cost us in that sort of way.
When you were having the conversations with people close to you trying to figure out whether you wanted to stay or go, did you want feedback from the NFL, and did you get any, or was that not really part of your decision making?
No, that was definitely part of the decision making for me, and Coach Franklin did a phenomenal job for me, and all the resources at Penn State of gathering the information for me and all my agents as well. They did a great job of giving me as much information they could in that short time span and allowing me to make the most informed decision for myself on what I thought was best for me. So, I mean, I definitely wanted that feedback, just because when I think you're going into that decision, at least for me, like I want to be as informed as possible, no matter if it's like good or bad. Like I want to know where I stand in that sort of sense. So that was definitely a big help for me. And I think for me, it came down to like, I know how much better I want to be as a player and leave my mark on Penn State and obviously accomplish the things that we came close to last year but came up short in. So having another go at that and just playing more football.
Did they think you would have been a first round pick? Was that the feedback you got?
I mean, I don't know how true all that stuff was. It's just kind of like none of that stuff was really reported to me, from what I understand, like it was kind of like a wide range. I had a pretty wide range of like being a top end guy or like maybe being like a mid round guy. So for me, again, it's kind of like too scattered, I guess, to kind of pull that trigger. And again, like I have a lot of things I want to accomplish here as a team and individually that I felt like I wanted one more go at.
Drew, 3 really tough losses last year.
Yeah.
All of them that were really close.
Yeah.
Really close, maybe a mistake or two here or there. You talked about the Notre Dame game, but the Oregon and Ohio State game. What were 1 or 2 things that you took from those games that you're going to use moving forward?
Yeah, I think the Oregon game specifically, I played well in for the most part, but there was 2 costly mistakes. Obviously, the first interception, we were down, 21-10 at that point. I threw an interception, which was basically a pick six since they got out of the one. It was one play, like halfback dive or whatever. So now we're down 28-10. But the thing I took from that game is the way we battled back. Like we came back and rattled off 2 scores. But again, like if I don't have those 2 costly interceptions, maybe it's a different outcome for us. And because we were having a pretty good game offensively from that standpoint, I was playing pretty well. Besides maybe 5 or 6 plays, and then the Ohio State game again, it's like just 1 or 2 different plays. Obviously, they had a great goal line stand. They made a lot of plays when they needed to make plays. So credit to them. They have again like a really good ball club, really good coaching staff. So they're going to make plays, but it's about just finding 1 or 2 more plays to make throughout that game that can maybe change that outcome. So again, like all these games that we're talking about come down to like a handful of plays. Obviously, they're going to be really tight games just because of the talent on both sides of the field. So again, those are the opportunities that I wanted to come to Penn State to play in those types of games, and looking forward to just again kind of just having one more go at it for my senior year.
Last year, Ohio State had a lot of guys who made the same decision you did to come back for their senior year and try to chase a championship. Do you guys, you and your teammates who made the decision to come back, do you guys draw inspiration from that?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but I think for us, like, again, it kind of relates back to my message earlier. Like, for us, like, I know for me, I wanted to accomplish a lot more as a team and individually. I can say the same for all the guys that made that decision to come back. So I think for us, it was about reflecting on each person's journey, because obviously everybody had a different decision to make. Everybody's decision wasn't like mine or that sort of thing. So making those decisions, and then when we stepped back foot and lashed for our first lift of the winter, like just realizing, all right, now it's like we're here, like we didn't just come back to come back. We came back for a reason, and we need to push everybody around us to be the best they possibly can. And I think we've done a really good job of that. We have a lot of great leaders on both sides of the ball, a lot of experience. So I'm really looking forward to just, again, playing football and competing against us when fall camp comes around.
How do you think that experience makes you guys a better team going into this year?
I mean, just like you said, it's experience. The more you're in those moments, the more you know what it feels like on both outcomes, good and bad. So just knowing, like, when those moments do come, like, all right, like now resetting your mind to focus on the present, not thinking about the outcome or anything, like just focusing on the process of everything to hopefully come out with different outcomes in those opportunities.
Drew, what can you say about the 3 new receivers that transferred?
Yeah. I mean, they've been great for our room. I think the one thing about all of them is they came in and put their head down and worked. They were not coming in entitled to anything. They earned everybody's respect from the player standpoint on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball, and the coaching staff. Those guys will put their head down and work, and they're unselfish in that sort of thing, in that sort of way. So I'm really excited to, again, just play football again, because I think we really got rolling towards the back half of spring ball, and I'm really excited to go into fall camp and really just, again, I know I keep saying it, but play football.
How would you describe those 3 receivers differently?
I think they're all very different in themselves. Like, I think Kyron's like your bigger receiver who's going to make those contested catches, but again, like, he's not just a big receiver that's going to make contested catches. He can win on routes. He's fast. He's fast enough to win on deep balls and that sort of thing. Devontae's been really good. He's a really twitchy guy. Like, he'll make some guys miss in space, and I'm really excited for him. And then obviously having Trevor now come in, obviously a little bit later than the other 2, but he's done a great job of putting himself in that room and earning the trust of everybody in that room. Because again, that's a really good room right now, and I'm really excited to see how they produce this fall.
Drew, what are the conversations like with Wheatley when you guys are lifting?
Yeah, they're really good conversations. Honestly, it's we'll talk about a lot of different things. Honestly, like whether it's like offensive football, defensive football, what he sees, young guys in a program that we think are going to be really good players for us, and also just kind of just talking about football in general, like how I see the game, how he sees the game, picking his brain about like how he tries to disguise on defense, that sort of thing, and just giving him any tips that I have, like maybe tells that I have from him, or things that help me gather information pre-snap, and him doing the same for me. So I think, again, like the one thing that's cool about our program is obviously we compete in everything we do, but we also want to see each other succeed. So I think that's just the culture we have at Penn State. So we're always going to, obviously, when it's time to play football, and compete against each other and try to win every drill that we can. But then after the fact, put that aside and like just be honest with each other and just see what we saw in the field.
You guys are in the squat rack or lifting on the bench.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, does that seem like it's the focal point of this team's leadership? The two of you, kind of the brain trust, being able to kind of steer the offense and defense of what you guys can do this year?
Yeah, I think it's not just me and him. We have a really good collective group of leaderships on both sides of the ball. Obviously, with kind of him and me, well, obviously I'm the quarterback of the offense, but like he's the quarterback of the defense in a sense. So just talking to him about like how like to get calls in and that sort of thing, but also like for us setting the tone from the get-go in the workout. Like we're always in there early, one of the first ones in the lift, stretching, doing extra stuff after the lift is done. So I think setting the tone about how we approach each day and just how we carry ourselves on and off the field, I think is really good for young guys to see. And I think it's been a huge benefit because, again, he's had really good vets throughout his time here, and I've had really good vets since I've been here too. So just kind of trying to pass on our knowledge that we've learned either for ourselves or others to the young guys in our program.
I see the cross around your neck. How important is space?
Yeah, it's really important to me. I think for me, I've grown in it every year that I've grew up in a Catholic home, but I've grown in it more independently, I would say, since I got to college. And it's definitely important to me because, again, like I've been blessed with a lot of opportunities in my life to, maybe not that a lot of normal college students don't get to experience. So I don't want to take those moments for granted. And for me, it's about taking advantage of the blessings that I've been blessed with, and then also, making a positive impact, whether that's on one kid or like a handful of kids, trying to be a positive impact in whatever community, whether it's back home in Medina or at State College, just trying to, again, show kind of like myself away from the field, and if that makes sense, because kind of everybody sees football players as just football players, but obviously it's very important to us and part of our identity, but there's a lot more in life than just football. And I think for me, my faith and religion is very important to me.
How much of an impact has Jim Knowles made already? What's it like going against him in practice?
Yeah, it's really fun going against him in practice, obviously, because, again, he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, and now to be going against him every day in practice, it can only help me. No matter how challenging his scheme is, obviously we have a lot of talented players on that side of the ball, so that already makes it pretty hard, but going against his scheme has been really fun throughout spring ball, and just kind of getting to know him a little bit more about his scheme and like how he's kind of evolved to call his defense and that sort of thing. Just kind of trying to look at it from a different perspective and not just always on the offensive side of the ball, but how maybe defensive coaches adjust mid-game and why they adjust mid-game.
Thanks, Drew. We got to let them go, guys.